Anyone remember Joe Kelly? Remember Joe Kelly was suspended for 8 games for throwing behind Alex Bregman, and then for thumbing his nose at Carlos Correa, calling him a little baby, and there was a bench clearing brawl. He got suspended 8 games. It was then reduced to 5, which, Coco, was that a wait to see? I know I predicted, I don't know whether I made it a wait to see, but I certainly told you that it would be reduced to 5. Well, Joe Kelly did a podcast, and he did a podcast with one of the starters on the Dodgers named Ross Stripling, and it was recorded earlier this month. And someone asked a question about that because he had some comments. The question was this: given Joe Kelly's comments about the Houston Astros, do you believe that the Astros now have a bigger beef with the Dodgers than the Dodgers have with the Astros? So what's this question about? Well, let me tell you. Joe Kelly gave this podcast, and he went off. And he went off on the Astros players in a way that I've never heard any players go off on other players. And he went off in a way that was based on such ignorance and stupidity that it was so shocking to me that when I saw the So You Want to Talk to Samson question, it made it right into the show. Here's what Joe Kelly said. He said, the people who took the fall for what happened is nonsense. Everyone's involved. But the way the sign-stealing system was run over there was not from the coaching staff. They're not the head boss in charge of that thing. It's the players. So now the players get the immunity, and all they have to do is go snitch like little bitches, and they don't have to get fined. They don't have to lose games. When you save your own ass, that's what I don't like. Cheating, they cheated. Everyone knows they're cheaters. Talking about the Astros, they know they're cheaters. It's over. They've been there, done that. But now they mess it up by ruining other people's lives, so they effed it up twice. When you taint someone's name to save your own name, that is one of the worst things that you could probably do, and that bugs me. I think I'll be irritated forever. Joe, you missed the entire thing, the entire point. Let me explain. It's too much. Let me summarize. Coca, you know what that is? That's from The Princess Bride. That was Inigo Montoya, played by Mandy Patinkin with the big beard. Remember when they had the big gray beards that I had that people thought I was Mandy Patinkin from Homeland? He had a line in Princess Bride. Let me explain. No. It's too much. Let me summarize. When MLB got word from Mike Fiers in an article that there was cheating going on with the Astros, MLB had to investigate. So here's how it goes. Knock, knock. Hi, Mr. Altuve. I'm just curious. Did you wear a buzzer or steal signs? Mr. Altuve, are you there? Mr. Altuve, hello? Oh, you're not talking. All right, hold on. Let me get Alex on the phone. Alex Bregman, I got a quick question. Were you banging garbage cans? No? Yes? Can you hear me? Is this Zoom on? What am I, Jack McKeon? Is this Zoom on? Hello? Silence. Major League Baseball gave immunity to players, Joe, because that's how you get people to tell you what in the hell is going on. Have you ever heard of people whistleblowing, where it's an entire way that the government and prosecutors get an understanding of what's going on within companies, or leaking documents, and you call that snitching? Have you ever heard of people copying a deal, copying a plea, where they're going after? Have you watched Fear City on Netflix yet? The way to get the big bosses, in addition to Rico, the way to get them is you get snitches to say, hey, I don't want to serve time, so I'll tell you what they're doing above you. You want the big fish, not the minnow. What MLB needed to get done with the Astros scandal was find out exactly what happened, make sure it was never going to happen again. To do it, they needed the players to tell them what was going on, because Jeff Luhnow certainly wasn't, because Jeff Luhnow, this great president of baseball operations, who you're so quick to defend, Joe Kelly, he said to baseball, hey, I have no idea what's happening. We're not stealing signs. I have no idea about a camera in center field or a monitor in the dugout. I didn't hear any garbage cans. Alex Cora, Joe Kelly's favorite bench coach. I don't know. What happened? I didn't do anything. Everyone's saying they didn't do anything, Joe. Of course they did. They had to make a deal. And by the way, your own Players Association agreed to it. Your own Players Association made it so the players would not be disciplined. Your own Players Association has now changed where players will be disciplined going forward. There was no acknowledgement of what would have happened without the players saying what happened. And the players were never going to say what happened unless they were granted immunity and not going to be punished. Now, let me tell you one other thing, Joe. You can't say they're not the boss, head boss in charge of that thing. It's the players, because that's wrong. Let me ask you a question. In your career, have you ever spent your own money to do something to improve the technology with your team? We had players for 18 years. I had players who wanted stuff to help them be better. And they came to me and said, hey, buy a new crypto chamber, buy a new training table, get a new trainer, buy a new machine, get a new this. We need better batting practice balls. We need better batting practice pitchers. We need more of this. I need someone for my back. I need someone for my front. I need someone for my legs. I need someone for my groin, my hips, my toes. I need this. I need that. I need a translator. Oh, no, I'm not paying. You pay. How did the TVs and the video equipment get into the clubhouse? Players did that? How did the wiring go on? Did the stadium operations people just wire it and Jeff Lunau and A.J. Hinch had no idea? A.J. Hinch knew exactly what was going on. He's the one who broke the TVs, he says, but didn't tell you not to keep going because a new TV appeared the next minute. The players. The players are not the boss of anything, Joe. And you think the Houston Astros players made it so that Lunau and Cora and Beltran and Hinch were going to get fired? The owner, Jim Crane, fired Lunau and Hinch. MLB suspended them for a year. The owners in Boston fired Cora. He was suspended for a year. The Mets owners fired Beltran. Wait for it. What was Beltran's suspension? Oh, yeah, he was a player. He wasn't suspended at all. And you're saying in your comments that it was the players talking that directly led to them losing their jobs and taking away their livelihood in order to save their own tush. It's just not what happened. So if you want to be the voice of reason and you want to explain, why don't you take the microphone and get on your podcast? And why don't you tell us what the Dodgers and Red Sox did to steal signs? Why don't you tell us the truth about the Apple Watch situation? Why don't you tell us why the Red Sox got in trouble? Tell us what the Dodgers do. Tell us what you know to be true about the stealing of signs by all teams. Tell us about what you know pitchers do to Dr. Balls. Tell us what you know players look like when they take their uniforms off. Tell us the substances. Don't stand on the mountaintop and throw a stone when you live in a house that's on wheels and is full of glass.